Your avoidant partner is already pulling away from you, just as Valentine's Day is approaching. Now, the perceived pressure of this holiday, coupled with the underlying tension of already being avoidant, often sends most avoidant partners right over that edge. This is why so many couples lose their relationship in February. But what if I told you there's a way to not just survive this Valentine's Day, but use it to actually strengthen your connection? In this video today, I'm about to show you exactly how to break through those avoidant walls without pushing him any further away. Yes, we are entering what I call the Valentine's vortex, that period where relationship pressure peaks and avoidant partners tend to retreat. That's why I've got you covered in this video with practical strategies that can actually work to get you bonded deeply, get through this Valentine's Day, and just maybe get engaged this summer. Let's go. First, let's talk about what it is about Valentine's Day that really makes avoidant partners struggle in particular. Why do so many avoidant breakups happen in this period? Well, let's talk the psychological perspective first, obviously, on this channel. You know me, the psychology guy. Avoidants particularly interpret Valentine's Day as a day of expectations and potential judgment, which triggers their defensive mechanisms. They're very uncertain about what your expectations are. They are used to big demands from other people. This is what made them avoidant in the first place from other people in their life. And past partners and caregivers were usually unreasonable. Now you are going to get painted with the same demanding brush, and Valentine's Day is one more chance to ruin everything. Hypervigilance and risk assessment then kicks in hardcore and makes them believe that this is a danger zone. Add to this the anticipated high costs of Valentine's gifts, dinners, etc. Him thinking she probably expects a diamond tiara, and it makes them see you as a huge liability and expense on Valentine's Day. Even if none of this is true, this is the perception on the inside as they're walking into Valentine's Day, Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, the massively high demands other people have hit them with through the course of their life. They now think you're going to hit them with. Now, there is a biological response that they experience here. Their nervous system activates flight mode in response to the pressure. They don't want to fight you about your expectations. They'll just back off. This response is rooted in their attachment style, which prioritizes self-reliance over interpersonal closeness, because nobody has ever really worked reasonably and reliably with them to solve problems before. You're probably the first who's trying. Now, they have low oxytocin as well. This holiday does not reward them emotionally the way it rewards non-avoidant people. This sets up a trade money for dopamine sex sort of feeling for them, which feels deeply uncomfortable. It's very close to just paying for physical intimacy, which most of them are not wanting to do with a partner. So Valentine's Day makes them feel trapped, makes them feel smothered. It makes them feel like they're about to get yelled at for not buying you a diamond tiara. And at the same time, it gives them the ick that they're paying for physical intimacy. I think you can see why a lot of avoidant people duck out around Valentine's Day. Sometimes there's a short 2-week breakup and then they get back together with you afterward just to sort of jump over this particular landmine. And that's not really fair to anybody. Some common avoidant behaviors to expect during this period: avoiding conversations about Valentine's plans completely. They'll likely be vague. They'll ask you to keep your mind on the present moment, not a later holiday. You know, be together with me today. Let's not think about Valentine's Day tomorrow. Let's focus here in this moment. They're desperately trying to pull you back from that moment of disaster. And if that's not working, there's probably going to be an increased emotional or physical distance. They may pull away from hugs more quickly and pat you gently as they step away, or hand-holding may completely disappear. They might not share anything. You might see them with a thoughtful, almost constipated look on their face, and you say, "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Everything is fine." And you're like, "No, clearly something is off." "No, everything is fine." And they will not share anything on the outside because they're internally processing those threats and perception of threats so hard. Then there can be a sudden withdrawal or reduced communication. Text messages may come slower while they're suddenly more busy with work. Even on the weekends, even at midnight, even at 2 a.m., they're still somehow working. Everything pulls away as they feel threat, and no hope. So let's then talk about what their emotional walls that you're trying to get through really are. This emotional distance, the avoidant people build these emotional walls consciously or sometimes unconsciously as a strategy to maintain control over their environment and avoid vulnerability to these unreasonable risks. They don't know what to expect, and the unknown feels dangerous and risky, so they're preparing for a sudden attack or a crisis or a breakdown. This sets them on edge and makes them see you as the source of their stress. Their brain might start thinking, if only this relationship didn't exist, I could feel peaceful right now. Now, we have studies that show that avoidant people have heightened sensitivity to perceived relational demands, which their brain categorizes as threats to their autonomy. That low oxytocin cycle from high sympathetic nervous system activation, which closes their oxytocin receptors, then gives them low GABA, which suppresses their ability to manage their cortisol. So they've got unregulated high cortisol where they have to white knuckle it all the time. They also have low serotonin, so they feel very little contentment or peace, and they don't feel emotionally connected and bonded to anybody. So it's the worst chemical cocktail to go into a romantic holiday or relationship with. Low emotional bonding, low satisfaction, low contentment, low stress resilience, massively high unchecked cortisol levels, and constantly white knuckling it. This makes them run away from situations that feel high risk and low reward, like Valentine's Day, instead of leaning into it and having a great experience with you, like you probably want. So let's talk really quick some communication techniques that you need to start using quickly to start managing this. 3 communication techniques to start doing. Number 1, prioritize clear, concise communication about expectations. Here's why this works. Avoidant people will not understand any ambiguous or overly emotional language. Clarity helps them process information without feeling overwhelmed. Clarifying expectations stops them from guessing and assume the worst. Here's how to do this, okay? Replace, you're not spending much time with me lately. Do you not like me anymore? With something like, I noticed there's a lot more distance between us lately. Is something making you uncomfortable? And how can we resolve it? And make sure that you're talking directly about expectations. Say something like, hey, I know Valentine's Day is coming. Can we align really quick on expectations so that we're both comfortable? I was thinking that we could spend no more than dollar amount on each other, and I want you to know that I prefer time together and experiences versus big gifts or flashy gestures. Maybe we can just cook dinner together or go to our favorite restaurant. What are your thoughts on that? Very clear, exact statements of desires with examples so that they can understand, prioritizing experiences and time together. This is crucial for decreasing their stress and honestly getting what you want. The key here, the key draw is be direct. State your needs in a neutral, straightforward way without excessive elaboration. Give examples of what you're looking for and help them understand a dollar amount even if necessary. This stops them from believing you expect 10 times more than you actually do, and then their stress can go to 0. The second tip here, very crucial, use neutral, collaborative language. Collaborative language lowers defensiveness by framing the conversation as a joint effort. So here's how to do this. Instead of saying, hey, what are we doing on Valentine's Day, and making it their decision and just turning it over to them, maybe you're trying to start a conversation, but it sounds like you're demanding an answer. Try something like, how would you like doing something simple together this Valentine's Day? Like maybe offer an idea. Or do you have some ideas? Build the collaborative ideas together like that and use context clues like, hey, let's align on our expectations, or I want us both to be comfortable. This lets him know that you're not prioritizing your experience, but you also want him to feel at peace. There's something called implicit and explicit. A lot of people in relationships use implicit language that implies I want us both to be happy. But with avoidant people, that's not implicit to them. That's not a given. They actually assume most people don't care about their satisfaction at all. So you making it explicit actually is a surprise to them and recalibrates their understanding of how you think. You need to start making your implicit things explicit so they can understand it. That's part of your challenge you're having with your communication. The third thing you must start doing is allowing space for processing. Avoidant people do need some time to reflect before responding to heavy discussions or discussions that involve feelings and relationship needs and next steps, okay? Giving them this time is a key part of showing care for them personally. Here's a way that you can do this. After stating your thoughts, pause and give them some time to respond. You might actually tell him, take some time to think that over before you respond so he can slow down. Avoid filling up the silence with additional explanations or repeating your point. If he pauses for a moment and thinks, don't assume that he doesn't get it and then start talking. Breathe. And if he needs some additional time, it's really tough, let him know that's fine. Hey, I know this is a lot to think over, so could you let me know by tomorrow at dinner or tonight by 7 in the next couple of hours? Take some time and come back. Allowing him this time to assess risks and weigh his options is a great sign of care for his comfort level and makes you look like you're not using high-pressure sales tactics. Now, that manages some of the bleed, but let's talk about building the connection with your partner. The first thing you've got to do is focus on low-stakes activities, okay? Avoidant people engage more easily in shared experiences than intense discussions, especially about feelings. They can do intellectual discussions, but personal ones, really tough for them. Focusing on shared experiences first will help allow you to both vasopressin bond, and you can also oxytocin bond as time goes by. Right now, you should be focusing on sharing experiences that craft vasopressin bonding for both of you. This is important because avoidant people, their oxytocin receptors are often blocked and they're low on oxytocin anyway, and oxytocin makes them pull away. Vasopressin bonding makes them lean in. Okay, a couple ways you can activate this. Plan a casual activity like cooking, hiking, or watching a lighthearted movie that's calm and easy. Keep the focus on the activity rather than addressing serious topics. Let him know that this sort of activity is what fulfills you, and it sets you up as a low-maintenance partner. And that helps him understand your realistic expectations for the future. Now, for real vasopressin bonding, you might learn a skill together, take a class together, teach each other a skill. You might do an escape room date on Valentine's Day. Those are huge for vasopressin bonding. You might solve some problems together on Valentine's Day. Maybe it doesn't sound wildly romantic to solve challenges, but maybe you should spend the day working together as a team and call it a team building exercise. Vasopressin happens when you overcome challenges and stress together, even if it's little stress, even if it's the stress of a new experience or learning and growing. That itself is a huge bonding process. So start doing that, sharing experiences instead of 3 hours talking about love and feelings. The second thing you've got to start doing is reinforcing positive interactions. Positive interactions encourage avoidant people to lower the defenses over time. And I don't mean manipulatively. I mean, they lower them because they're learning they can really trust you. That's a good thing to lower your defenses in the inappropriate moments. So discussing the positive moment you had out loud lets him know what you're thinking. It helps him understand what you value. For example, acknowledge their effort in moments without overpraising. Like, hey, I really appreciated that you suggested this and did this with me. I appreciated your time. I appreciate how honest you are. Praising those moments when they act in ways that really fulfill you, but especially praising their character as revealed in those moments. Really helpful. Do this out loud. Again, make the implicit explicit. Help them see that. They're not used to people doing that. Even using that word respect is a huge boost. Hey, I respected you a lot when you, whatever it was. It could be that they opened up and shared. It could be that they solved a problem. They helped somebody. I don't know what it was. Look for that moment and make your respect explicit instead of implicit. Okay. It helps him feel a boost of pride and status in your eyes. The research is fascinating. It actually increases his testosterone. So make sure that you're using that appropriately. And the last thing to do here is maintain balance in the relationship. Okay. Avoidant people value partners who demonstrate independence and self-sufficiency. This means that you're not going to smother him with your demands or become a serious liability when you collapse into the relationship and then now challenges hit and he has to carry you on his back while he's solving your problems. If that's the case, he can't be with you in his head. But if you are self-sufficient and independent while still working together to love and co-regulate both, then you can build a great relationship. So you've got to be pursuing your own interests. You've got to be maintaining your own social connections. You have to have your own relationships with your friend, your family, professionally. You've got to be building and maintaining those. Don't just bring him to every single family and friend event and never meet anybody else ever unless he's there. Make sure that you're maintaining your own independent relationships. Yes, he can and should come meet your friends and family, but you should also have time with your friends and family when you're by yourself. He should have time with his friends and family, and you should be with yours. Make separate times to visit them and then come back and talk about how it went. This even gives you something to talk about. Take time for yourself for self-care as well, away from the avoidant person. This allows them to take time for self-care on their own without tension, right? They want to go and recharge. They can't do that if you're sitting there crying, waiting for them. You need to go recharge as well. Hey, cool. You want to go out with your friends for Thursday night poker game? Totally cool. I'm going to be out with my friends. We're going to be doing this and this. It'll be amazing. I'm going to go to a pottery class with my mom. I'm going to do Pilates. It's going to be cool. I will see you at what? 9:30 on Thursday, 10 o'clock. Does that work? Boom, done. Show them in particular here that you're a partner. You're not someone who's overly dependent on their validation. You're not a house plant waiting for them to water you and you're going to die if they don't. Be a living human being. And then they can rest knowing that you're not going to smother them. Now, here's what to do if something does go wrong. Here's how to handle avoidant shutdowns, periods of no contact. First, number one, recognize the pattern. Avoidant people retreat when they feel overwhelmed, pressured, or they fear conflict. This is not usually an intentional, conscious decision. They usually pull back because it's their nervous system and the response from their sympathetic nervous system and their cortisol flow saying danger, 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 or I'm burned out, I'm burned out, I'm burned out. They pull back to get safety from threat, but they also pull back because they're exhausted and need to recharge. It's usually not intentional. It's not usually punitive toward you. If it is, that's a manipulative avoidant person, not an ethically avoidant person. Ethical avoidant don't do punitive, manipulative things to you. They do things unintentionally because they are overwhelmed. Very different response, okay? Signs of this, it should be a short response. They give you short responses though. The short emails, short texts. They downgrade from video calls down, no voice notes, just purely text messages, and it's only 2 or 3 words at a time kind of thing. Avoidance of plans. They won't make any plans, complete withdrawal, flat affect, not looking like anything and just talking like this. And it's just more flattening. A lot of people take this very personally and then they chase demanding more validation and reassurance, which exhausts that person more. So they pull away harder. Just understand those shutdowns and those periods of no contact. It's usually not intentional. It's because they can't. So some really key ways to respond effectively: avoid chasing. Okay. Repeated texts, repeated calls. It reinforces their need to withdraw further because they're exhausted. Now they start experiencing pain and stress when you contact them. The worst thing to do is chase. Okay. Set a clear, respectful boundary and make sure your needs are met too. Hey, I noticed you've been quieter lately. That probably means you need some time to rest, and that's totally fine. I'd love to reconnect when you're ready. Can we set a day when you think you're going to be set to talk? Can we talk on Thursday? How much time do you need? I want to give you the space that you need. When is a good time for us to reconnect? Make sure that you're having those boundaries. Call out the elephant in the room, make it explicit, and then ask for an appropriate time to reconnect. Be gentle when you do that. Hey, I know you're probably upset at me. I get it. I'm a lot to deal with. That's fine. It's totally fine. I'm just going to be sitting here waiting for you to come back. And when you do, I'll probably be crying because it made me so miserable, but it's fine. It's totally fine. When do you think you're going to be done? No, they're going to be done in about 20 years. So, hey, I noticed you've been quieter lately. Totally fine. You probably need some time to reconnect with yourself or recharge. When is a good time for us to reconnect? Calm, polite, efficient. That's what they need. Okay. No emotions, calm, polite, efficient. Set the ball in their court, but let them know that you're going to be continue playing. The game does not stop for the next 3 years. You are continuing to play. We just need to set a time to come back and reconnect. Help them they should frame their own connection here. This is where they need to be self-regulating. Okay. And speaking of self-regulating, you need to be self-regulating. And that's point number 3. Focus during this time on self-regulation. Use grounding techniques, somatic body techniques, self-regulation exercises, mindfulness practices, meditation, physical activities to manage your own anxiety during this pull-away phase. Okay. These are available in my How to Love an Avoidant Man video course, which is on sale right now during the Valentine special. Please, if you have an avoidant partner, pick up that course. It shows you how to speak their language. There are tactics in there for you to become more calm and self-regulated, not for their sake, but for your sake, so that you can feel more centered and grounded and healthy. And yes, in turn, that often makes things simpler for the both of you so you can have an easier relationship. Pick up your copy of that course right now while it's on sale. Now, here's some very specific tips just for Valentine's Day for couples who are anxious and avoidant. If you've got an anxious woman maybe and an avoidant man, here's what you need to know. Low pressure plans are going to be your friends. Choose activities that would increase your bonding hormones like oxytocin and vasopressin, but don't require significant emotional or financial engagement. For example, a long walk. Maybe you plan on a nice leisurely hike and a picnic that day. Okay. A simple dinner at home that you cook together. Maybe you pull a recipe from the internet and you practice it together. If you get it terrible, you laugh. If you get it great, you high five and you vasopressin bond. Working on a task together, like solving a puzzle of some kind or an escape room, going to a shared creative project of some sort. Very low demand, low activity, low stress, low emotional threshold, high bonding. Okay. Again, escape rooms are perfect for this. I feel like I should take out stock in escape rooms or open a chain of Adam Lane Smith attachment themed escape rooms. We should launch that because escape rooms are so good for couples working together. It shows you how you're going to navigate crises and difficulties. And frankly, it's going to show you if he's going to refuse to work with you, shove you out of the way, solve everything himself, and then run out the door, jive in his car, and then drive away, leaving you there so you have to Uber home. If that's how he handles a crisis, you should probably leave. There are a lot of non-verbal expressions of appreciation you should be practicing this holiday if you are anxiously and avoidantly attached together. Avoidant people often respond better to actions than they do to words. Words mean very little to them because people have used words against them. For example, cook their favorite meal for them or leave a thoughtful, brief note. One really great gift my wife gave to me when we were early in our dating process was she created long little slips, almost like fortune cookie slips, that sort of size, and wrote little things that she really liked about me that made her fall in love with me on that. And she wrote probably 50 of them and put them in this little jar and gave that to me. And it meant a lot to me. I still have it to this day. We just had our 16-year wedding anniversary and we've got 5 kids. So we have proof that we're working together as a good couple. But it was a wonderful, thoughtful gift that really expressed what she liked about me. Most of them in there weren't tasks I performed for her. They were acts about my character. They were thoughts about my ability to think, my ability to be reasonable, to be ethical, considerate, principles, my drive, my ambition. They were character traits about myself. These can be fantastic gifts for somebody. Now, I definitely suggest that you get on these challenges now. Don't wait till the day before Valentine's Day. Breakup season in particular is coming, you guys, and I want to prep you for that. Breakup season really begins in earnest in March. It's the absolute brutal March clean, the spring clean, and that happens in relationships too. But you should be starting right now so that the coming months will be critical in building a good relationship, okay? Addressing the avoidant behaviors now can prevent unresolved issues from escalating out of control. Build some long-term compatibility together, okay? This is not only breakup season, you guys. It's a great time to confirm the match and build an amazing connection so that you share the spring together. You're more in love than ever. You share the summer together. You head into next fall, winter, and you begin the whole cycle, okay? We're mammals. We live on a cycle. Make sure that you are maintaining your connection during those seasonal changes. Effective strategies like all of them that I talked about in this video here today not only reduce tension, but they promote a more well-balanced, secure connection over time. This video, let's look at it in whole. This video is not how to make life easier for your avoidant partner while they trash you. This video is how to build a secure connection together as a couple. Yes, from your side initially, but to get them invested and then weave together a secure relationship where you both feel loved and secure. The goal is for everybody to become secure. You remember that's my mission? 1 billion people with secure attachment, not a billion people walking on eggshells for avoidant partners. 1 billion people with secure attachment. That begins sometimes by building an explicit, secure relationship that helps the avoidant person grow towards you and become more secure over time. The things you do in this video can help them understand secure attachment and want secure attachment. So if you want to understand avoidant behavior in a whole new way and build that secure connection, I would love for you to check out my How to Love an Avoidant Man video course that I built just for you. It's now at a discounted price during Valentine's Day as a special. This course is designed to help you navigate all of these dynamics with confidence and with more detailed strategies and action plans. A lot of women go through that course. They say, Adam, I have never felt so heard, so seen. I've never had my needs met this way. I've never had a man look at me like this. I've never had a man trust me as deeply now as my man does. thank you for building this course. It made everything so easy to understand. So that course, it's How to Love an Avoidant Man, but it should be called How to Get an Avoidant Man to Love You. So I recommend you check it out right now. It is on special because I love love. I love couples and I want everybody to be happy and in love the way I am with my wife. So a little bit selfish there. I follow my heart in that way. You can help me achieve that. Let's build a lot more happy couples together. Okay. And remember, if you're not sure that you might have anxious attachment style or not, you've selected an avoidant partner, odds are good you have some tendencies, go check out my free attachment assessment on my website, adamlanesmith.com. I've got the free attachment assessment there under resources tab. Click that, take those questions, and you will get a readout on your attachment style, the severity of it, and some first steps you can take to become more secure yourself. I want to help you reach your very, very best in relationships so that you can get the love that you deserve to. Everybody, thank you so much for following along here today. I appreciate your time and your trust. Leave me a comment down below. Avoidant people, the things in this list, true, yes, no, what are your thoughts? And people who have been with avoidant partners, have you ever tried some of these activities? And if so, how did the avoidant person respond? I'd love to hear your feedback. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you come back again for the next video. I'll see you there.